Yeah, I think honestly up there with the worst ones is what Maddie was saying too. When you have your Snapchat, like you don't even just send it. You send like the little QR code bullshit.
The like contact card?
Absolutely not. Because first of all, I've clicked on it before like an idiot. It doesn't even take you to Snapchat. It takes you to the goddamn Safari, which is absolutely trash garbage. And literally, it's so upsetting because then you have to make the effort to go from Safari to the app, and then you still gotta type it in. First of all, I don't even know if I like you. Why you give me your Snapchat? You haven't even sent as much as of a hello.
Yeah. Right.
Now you're going to get a hello and a goodbye all within one message. Unmatched. Goodbye. Next caller.
Okay, this guy said this to me, and I literally used this because I was like, this is straight comedy.
Oh, you liked it?
Yeah, I like this. Okay, tell me why this one just hit me funny.
For reference, Maddie messaged first. I'm looking at it.
I messaged first because someone messaged me this, and I was like, I need to try this out because I need to know if it's just me or if this is good. It said, Jesus turned water into wine, but I'm just trying to turn you into mine.
Oh, okay.
Tell me why that. I would be so loud in the chat.
I mean, anytime he mentions Jesus, I feel like it's loud in the chat.
It can go
right?
one or two ways. Maybe I will do a segment on the Baptist Church in a different episode.
Yes,
but
that they love to chase me down the street. Maybe I'll have the priest, the pastor on.
Don't do them like that.
Okay, don't get your hopes up.
That was pretty good. Anything with like kind of funny, kind of corny pickup line, like at least where it shows like a little effort, but as soon as the instant it turns sexual, even if you're looking for a hookup, like more power to you. But I think that's just really going to set the tone for the entire conversation.
Yeah.
I think the percentage of girls who are going to respond to you saying, like, wanna fuck or something, like, is so small and such a niche group that you should probably not message girls that.
You have to have something clever, but you can't have something that's super whorish, right? Like, here's another one I got. Here's from David in April. He said, even during this pandemic, the most contagious thing is your smile.
See, like, that's
honestly, that gives me, like, old man vibes.
It does. And I said, oh, my God, haha, that is great. And then we didn't talk until the end of April because I was over it. But at least
I was over it.
But he did have something original. I give him props for that. He didn't say, come fuck me. He didn't say it's quarantine. Let's get together, right? Like, he at least had something that was speaking to his position within quarantine. And I feel like, you know, that's worth something, but it still wasn't enough to grab my attention.
Right. Yeah. I've also gotten a lot of, like, come over or, like, what are you doing tonight? Again, in the first message. Like, that's just very aggressive. I also had another man ask me how much I was making at my job.
That's
in the literal first message.
That's
and
none of a man's business because we are bad bitches.
I don't really, I don't have recommendations what to message someone because if I'm really, like, he's so cute, I want to message him, it's going to be based off your profile. Like, it's going to be something funny based off your profile because it's going to be personal. I'm not going to send you something that I'm just like, let's just throw a shot in the dark here. Like, I don't know. That's my thing. So I'm going to go to the next question.
We can tell you what not to say. But we'll work on the suggestions.
Yeah. We'll work on it.
I'll come up with some stuff.
Definitely give us suggestions on what we should ask our Tinder men or what you have been asked from Tinder and what you have responded. We would love to hear.
Yeah. I definitely think a good intro could also be like, let's say like for today, it's a Saturday. Like say like, hey, hope you're having a great weekend so far. Like if you're not, you know, super out there in terms of like being funny or just like feel comfortable saying a pickup line, I think that could be, like, at least for me, that could be, like, oh, that's a sweet message. It's, like, it's better than just saying, hey. It's better than just saying, what's up. It's saying, like, hey, like, I hope you're having a good weekend so far. Like, what have you been up to? Something like that. Like, could be something a little bit more fun. You're a little bit nervous about it. Or even if it's a Sunday, for example. You could say, like, happy Sunday. Like, hope you have a great week this week or something. Right. Like, something 100%. Sweet. And, like, better than just saying, hey. Better than just sending your snap. Better than saying, like, can I see your titties?
Yeah.
Like,
I've been on some really good and some really bad first dates. So I'm going to take this question first.
Katie will have the most.
What is the question?
So the question is, I would like one story about your best and one story about your worst first date. So I'm going to go first because it takes probably an arm and a leg to get me on a first date. So if you do, that's a congrats in its own. But if you do and you fuck it up, it will be so quiet in the chat for you. So
with Maddie, you really get one chance.
You really do get one chance because this is the way that I look at first dates. If I'm going to take time away from seeing my friends and seeing my family to come see you, you better be worth it. Because my friends every night are doing something fun. So I would be foregoing doing something like that to hang out with you. So you better be worth my time. Otherwise, I'm going to be pissed and be like, wow, I could have made memories with my friends who are doing something fun. Oh, that was gross.
That wasn't great.
So I think, wow, best first date is kind of quiet in the chat for that one. I mean, honestly, I've just gone on some good dinner dates, and they've been, I think the key to, like, a good first dinner date is, like, asking a good amount of questions. I think that everybody likes to talk about themselves, so to me, if you ask me about myself and I'm asking you about you and there's good conversation, I'm going to consider it a good date. Whether I'm, like, want to see you again or not, I'm going to be like, well, that was a good date. Maybe you're not my type. Maybe you're not for me, but that's good. I can tell you a hell of a lot of stories about my worst first dates, so we will get into that. I'm sure I will talk about them other. My absolute worst first date ever, if he is listening to this,
fuck you.
Sign off the chat.
Exit the chat.
Yeah.
Your Bitmoji does not need to be up in the corner. Leave.
So this man, so I go to school 3.5 hours away from where I live, and this was my last day home. And he had really begged me to go on this date with him, and at this point, I told my mom about it, and my mom was like, you need to go, because she always pushes me to go on dates because she's like, how do you expect to meet the love of your life? They're not going to knock on our front door. And I'm like, you're so right. Okay. So I was so nervous, so I drove downtown Milwaukee, and so I thought we were, God, this is just so bad. So I thought we were going somewhere. So I pulled up to his house, and I texted him that I was here, and he was waiting for me to parallel park in front of him.
Absolutely not.
And I was like, this is so much. Like, it's the morning time. I'm so nervous about this.
I have no alcohol in me.
Like,
what time of day was this?
This was like maybe like, I think it was like 11.
Oh, so
because I was going back to
mimosas.
lacrosse. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, I was going back to lacrosse after this. So I was like, okay, this is great. So then I parallel park in front of him. Then he proceeds to tell me, like, it's bad. And then he gets in my car and parallel parks for me. And I'm like, what if he steals my car right now? Why that was my first reaction? No clue. So then
defensive.
he parallel parks my car, and it's great. I'm like, oh, okay, we're walking to somewhere from his place. Great. I did not know that, so now I look dumb. And we get out, and one of the first things he said to me was, you're taller than I expected, to which I said, you're shorter than I expected. Because I'm like, if you're going to come at me an asshole, I'm going to come back at you an asshole.
Quiet in the chat for anyone
if you're taller than I expected, if you have a smaller dick than I expected.
Keep those thoughts in
That's what we keep in the chat.
Why would you say that? Because I'm like, okay, just because I'm tall doesn't make me, like, an ugly person. Like, if you call me tall, I'm going to take it as your own insecurity.
Your pussy is still as good if you're tall versus
Jesus Christ, Taylor.
All right, anyways.
I'm just saying it is.
Okay, so then basically we went to get coffee, and we're walking, and like the whole time I'm talking, like he'll ask me questions but does not care about the answers. Like he's just like, yeah. And I'm like, are you even listening to what I'm saying? Like he was waiting to ask a next question or to talk about himself. And so that bothered me. Then we got there, and it really went downhill from there. He made, like, I ordered my coffee, like he's like, oh, what do you want? So I ordered my coffee, and then he like turns back and makes a joke. He's like, so are you going to Venmo me? And I'm like, so then I got nervous because I was like, oh, I guess I just kind of assumed he was paying.
Pay this man, right?
Right. And then because I was like, he turned around and he asked me what I wanted, so I assumed that meant we were on the same tab and he was going to buy it for me. And he was like, no, I'm kidding, I got it. So I was like, honestly, like, that wasn't really, oh my God. Katie just showed us Snapchat of this man. Great. It's loud in the chat.
An ad pic.
You're distracting us from the podcast.
Yeah, you're distracting.
Continue.
Sorry, so, the viewers needed to, or the listeners needed to hear.
Basically, this man made a joke about paying, and I was like, okay, well, now I'm uncomfortable because now I don't know if I pay you or I not, but thank you for that. And then we got down, and like, as I was talking about something, he stopped me to ask me to pull down my shirt so he could try to backboard a napkin down my shirt. And I was like, I'm absolutely not going to do that because...
You said it's loud for you, no, in the chat.
Yeah. That sentence made no sense.
It's a no for you in the chat.
Yeah, it's a no for you in the chat. Exactly.
That's what you meant, no loud.
Do you mean
it's not loud? It's quiet. It's a synonym. It's going to be quiet.
It's silent.
Taylor's hammered.
Yeah. Okay.
It is. I've had a lot of lemon drops, but we still speak truth right now.
Yeah. So basically, I was like, that's when I was like, wow, I'm very uncomfortable. So then he proceeded to then ask me to do some explicit things in the bathroom with him. And I said no, because one, we were in a coffee shop. No, we were at this, like, on Brady Street.
So, like, a public place.
I was like, okay, well, this is really weird. And then he proceeded to, I somehow got bamboozled into going back to his house with him, and he played guitar for me for 30 minutes while I just sat there.
Was it good?
Every time I tried to talk, he just kept playing guitar, and I was like...
So he was no Heath Ledger, is what we're hearing.
Yeah. This man will not be on tour anytime soon. And
Guitar Hero is where he peaked.
Yeah, then he told me I had Napoleon Dynamite boots, and at that point, I was like, I'd really like to go home.
I'm going to take that as a compliment.
I was like, well, great. So, anyone else have a best first date story that's worth their time to share?
We would love to hear it.
No, I'm talking to you.
No.
You don't need to hear. I want to hear from you.
My first date. Okay, here's the deal. My first date, like, love life, was somebody that I've been in love with since I was in grade school, right? And his name is Nick, and our parents are best friends, whatever. Like, they kind of forced a relationship upon us, and I was like, all right, like, I'll do it.
So Nick, if you're listening,
his name on the podcast.
So Nick, if you're listening, this is about you.
You were the best first date Taylor ever had.
But then, I had a Halloween party in my basement. This was when we were young, like high school.
Why do I feel like I was there?
I feel like you were, because we did play sports
Taylor
together.
and I have known each other for a while. I think Brie and I went.
And then all of a sudden, my friends came to me and they were like, your boyfriend Nick and this girl named Sarah are making out in your bathroom.
Oh, pissed.
And I went...
You learned heartbreak at a young age, my friend.
No, I was young, like maybe like 14.
Why does that make me think of the song, Heart Been Broke So Many Times?
It really does, right? So my mom, Sheila will be in this podcast in the future.
Yes,
you'll know her.
Please. Yes.
But she's very loud in the chat. And she was like, she sat this bitch down, Sarah, who cheated on...
I hate Sarah.
Who cheated on me with this dude in my own fucking home bathroom and said... You need to call your mom and you need to get the fuck out.
Basically, Sheila wrecked her life.
Sheila wrecked her life, and then the mom came and Sheila wrecked the mom's life, and it was what it was. But the moral of the story is your parents and the people, your friends, and the people who love you will always be allowed in the chat, and they will always fucking have your back. And that's the moral of this story.
I thought you were telling your best first date story first, and that just took a turn.
Yeah,
well, that was my worst.
This is like an 8th grade
that was my worst first date
Taylor's
story.
really drunk, so we might circle back to her.
Yeah.
That was my worst. I feel like I said my worst, so Katie can say her best.
Okay, well, I've been on a lot of first dates, especially this summer, really just living up a single life. Neither of my best first dates were either of my ex-boyfriends, if that tells you anything about who they are as people. But my best...
It's quiet in the chat
it's
for you.
so quiet in the chat for them. But my best first date was actually the man I'm simping over.
Oh my god.
Maddie's annoyed, but whatever. Best first date I've ever been on. Go, boys, if you need a first date idea, take this one. So, he lives downtown. He made reservations, and we went to brunch at like 11:30, and I was like, holy hell, this is so early.
Yeah.
So we went and had brunch, had bottomless mimosas at this place called Oak Barrel. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Very good.
Over 3rd Street, love it.
It's so good. And then we just decided, I thought the date was really going to end after brunch, but we decided it was loud in the chat. So we decided to bar hop literally all the way down the river and walked all the way down by like where the lighthouse is and kind of by like the Summerfest grounds.
You were already 3rd Ward, right?
Yeah, we walked like 5 miles that day.
Anybody in Milwaukee knows 3rd Ward.
Great day. So we bar
hopped.
What's it
called? 3rd Ward.
No, I'm at Milwaukee because you said it's so bad.
But basically we had like pretty much a 7-hour-long date and it was great. So that was probably the best first date I've ever been on. It was just because it was fun. I was drinking, good activities, good weather. Yeah. Worst first date I've ever been on. Maddie was a part of it, actually.
Oh my god.
So this little fucker, if you're listening to this, Blake, this is at you. Direct at in the chat. I would tag your Instagram if you're not blocked. Send the podcast
to him if you're bad.
I would tag your Instagram if you weren't blocked. Anyways. So we've been talking a little bit here and there. He's also, for context, a 26-year-old man who used Snapchat messaging as his primary form of communication.
That's a douchebag. Continue.
Should have been the first red flag, but I decided to swipe up to chat. Anyways, so he's one of those, again, for context, my parents' lake house. I live in a condo,
Yes.
high-rise condo on Water Street.
I'm like, last time I checked, that's called daddy's money.
Literally.
And until you earn any of it, I will not be impressed.
Well, and this is where I was somewhat impressed. He kept talking about how he makes 6 figures. And I was like, okay. So, anyways.
for the 6 figures, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Anyways, so we're hanging out. We're just bar hopping, whatever. And I offered to buy, like, next round because I was like, whatever.